Hello and welcome to the one and only Doddie Aid live on a Wednesday night at just after 7 p.m. I can blame lots of people, but it's probably my fault. It's good to see you. My name is Bruce Aitchison. I get to be your host, and this is it. This is the last one because it is all over. Final whistle tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. as we kick off the Six Nations on a Thursday night. Ireland play against France in Paris tomorrow, and that is the end of our Doddie Aid expedition, and it has been an absolute belter, but we're not quite there yet, and we've got a few people to speak to tonight. It's an all boys show, and oh boy, have we got the boys for you. I'm looking forward to chatting to all of them, and one dialing in from one of the most exotic locations that we've ever had, which is obviously the Isle of Call, but we've also got somebody else dialing in from we hope Chile in South America. So let's just see how that goes. The live satellite link up will be interesting if the internet can handle it. You have been amazing this week. The social media has been relentless with yellow and blue tartan. The country's going for it. So many people doing amazing, wonderful and wacky things, and dogs all over the place. Dogs all over. The Doddie Aid has been amazing. Dogs with the snoods on, with the leads, with the collars, getting people out and about. And this Doddie Aid number 6, I think, more than ever before, has been live for all to see on social media. And I think it has motivated more people to properly get active, to make the effort to be out and about and do extra and find the time to do stuff. And you've met up and you've done it with others, which I am very, very proud of. This is quite the community, and there's been new stuff this time. There's been the good old traditional stuff that we've had since Doddie Aid number 1 back in 2021. We hit the 1,000,000 mark, I think, this week, and who knows where that's going to get to as people start sprinting to the finish line. It gives me a great amount of pleasure, and I am really chuffed that he has come on, our captain up in Scotland, who has got a few stories to tell and has a big wide grin and far too much hair for my liking. But please welcome Scotland captain, the one and the only, Mr. Hamish Weir, dialing in from, I think, the Scottish borders. Are you at home?
I am indeed down in kind of wet, actually, Blainsley this evening. But good evening, everyone.
Good to see you, fella. And I was asking you before we came on, you've been nursing a bit of shoulder injury, so you've not been playing rugby recently. So what have you been doing to get fit and clock up your Doddie Aid miles?
So as I was saying before, it's been a few weeks in the gym, chucking around a 5 kilogram weight. I think it's actually probably down to 4 kilograms these days. But keep it busy, keeping out of trouble. I think the pig will be glad to see the end of Doddie Aid, if I'm being totally honest. It's never been watched in its life. But the whole month has been absolutely brilliant, if I'm being totally honest.
The pig has made a few appearances on social media.
It has. I've had a little bit of stick from that, as you can imagine. Pretending to be a farmer is one that keeps coming back up.
I love that.
If you watch closely, I think the pig's actually running away from me.
I remember many moons ago on Question of Sport when they used to do the mystery guest, and the Vietnamese pot-bellied pig had just arrived at Cortal Ferry Farm, and it was the first bit on the mystery guest, and anybody that knew guessed Doddie Weir before any part of his body had even made it. So the pig is back, and is it getting fitter?
I think it is, yeah. It's flying up the road these days. It's had an absolute blast. And as you were saying before, I think the dogs will be glad to see the back of Doddie Aid as well, because everywhere you look, it's a dog in a snood, isn't it?
You were saying that before we came on. You were talking about the social media, and I agree with you. I think it's been unreal this year. I think there's been more sharing, and the Doddie vets have been relentless. racking up miles and miles. They even got somebody on gladiators. That's how impressive the Doddie vets are.
Well, exactly. Every evening, kind of when you're sitting down, winding down, and you see all these kind of crazy people out getting their miles in, and sharing it all on social media. And I think that kind of brings together the community part, because you really feel invested in one another and what everyone's doing. And in terms of the Doddie vets, I know Ellie well. She's good friends with us, and so seeing her in Gladiators and again banging the drum, how wicked is that? I don't think me and you would survive in Gladiators very long, though, Bruce.
Well, I know I wouldn't, but surely Hamish Weir's got a Gladiators appearance in him.
There's too much body mass, too long, too skinny. I'd be taken out pretty quickly.
I love your honesty. I love it. And what's it been like being Scotland captain?
Oh, it's been brilliant, going out, seeing everyone, and it's just kind of the random kind of interactions you have. As I was mentioning, we're up in Glasgow, a wet Glasgow on Saturday, breaking my fast of dry January, and just bumping into everyone there, and they're coming up to you and you're telling stories about Dad, but obviously how brilliant Doddie Aid has been, and kind of the miles they've been logging, and in terms of like the community aspect that they feel in the back of that, because you know what January could be. So miserable, so wet, horrible, but it feels like a massive community that we've kind of built over the last couple of weeks with the brilliant Scottish kind of team that we've had. And that's probably biased, but there is about 10,000 of us. So if anyone else wants to have a go, we'll see you on the border. But, it has been brilliant, hasn't it?
It has been class. And when my phone was going nuts when you were on BBC Breakfast. And I was just pleased that he'd sobered up in time and got to the studio and were able to sit up straight. So well played. But off the back of that, I think the figures, within about 2 hours of you being on, there were about 2,000 sign-ups.
Yeah, which is quite incredible, if I'm being totally honest. You're telling tales there. I'm a new man these days. But being sat there, that's one thing they don't teach you in school, though. How do you sit on that red couch? I had a few issues. You should see me in my hotel room the night before, practicing how to sit on that. Don't think I got that one quite right, if I'm being totally honest. And it's true what they say. It does add £10 as well. I was getting hard from a big Christmas. But just kind of being down there, and obviously out the comfort zone, but on the back of that, getting 2,000 people, by the looks of things, they were all on the Scotland team as well, which is brilliant. But again, it's just that community and everyone getting involved, and I think that's why we're all doing it. It's a small donation, but it keeps on banging the drum about Doddie Aid and My Name's Doddie Foundation.
Talking about banging the drum, how good have BBC Breakfast been over the last sort of 6, 8, whatever years it is? They've just been relentless in their support.
Oh, it's sensational, and I think that's along with my dad, but some of the stuff that they've done with Rob, and it's really eye-opening, and I think it's the awareness is the biggest one. It's now like a universal conversation, is it, around the world, MND, and you don't go too far without someone knowing and being like kind of touched by someone that's been affected by MND these days, and I think that a lot of that comes off the back of what the BBC have been doing.
Yeah, and Sally Nugent's obviously fronted it, but Claire Ryan behind it, and then the outside broadcast when Sir Kev goes on his crazy wanders. You've been to all sorts of stuff. The one that made me laugh the most was when you ended up in Monaco.
Oh, you should be telling tales at this, but no, Monaco was a good one. On the back of that, because we're up for the Warrior Sports Awards, which for kind of being out at Murrayfield and just recently being crowned Murrayfield moment in the last 100 years, which is probably the closest I'll ever get to a Scotland cap. So I'm kind of telling everyone, if I'm being totally honest. But getting out to Monaco, my dad had fallen in the week and broken a rib. And I think he ended up in hospital, and everyone was panicking, thinking, oh no, this is a disaster, will he recover? I'm sat in the background thinking, brilliant. So me and my cousin flying out to Monaco like the class clowns, and then walking the red carpet, and we're thinking, what on earth is going on here? Like a fish out of water. But then reality set in that, we might actually win the award here. And as a young 18-year-old, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to have to get up and get a speech and do a speech in front. And what am I going to say to all these superstars? I've never applauded so loud in my life when we didn't win the award. And that just set off the whole evening from there. Because we're like, we're not going to be invited back now, are we? So we're in the after party causing ruckus. But I think these are the sort of memories that I've been lucky enough to really experience on the back of the foundation, what my dad's done.
Yeah, but you're representing when you do that, and you've been out to Hong Kong a couple of times. That you've got something up your sleeve for this year at Hong Kong.
So fingers crossed off the back of this shoulder surgery. Hopefully, I've set myself the target to get out to Hong Kong Tens. I'm on a bit of a kind of weight increase journey at the minute. I'm thinking if I'm playing up there, it's pretty close to those Pacific Islands, and they'll eat me up as the way I am at the minute. So trying to put on a few pounds. My mum's not liking it very much because I'm eating her out of house and home. But all part of the journey. So hopefully out in Hong Kong for the Tens come the end of April, and then kind of from there, hopefully if I can get back in the team, Melrose Sevens as well.
Ah, yes, there you go. And Hong Kong, you've obviously done a lot of representing there, the support that Martin Murray and Hong Kong Scottish and the foundation representation out there has just been insane. And there's a whole lot of Doddie sign-ups in Hong Kong.
Without a doubt, kind of Martin exactly puts on an unbelievable dinner every year, and the amount of money that they raise for the foundation, out of their own time, kind of just doing it for the love of my dad, and if there's any amount of people that I could thank from Hong Kong. But yeah, I've been out the last couple of years, and it's an incredible evening. I unfortunately didn't make it out last year though. It's still up for debate, if I'm being totally honest, but I think it was maybe about 7 hours before my flight. You know how it is being a boy. I couldn't find my passport, and I'm thinking, oh no, we're in a bit of trouble. Don't want to let down anyone that's trying to get us out there. And I've had to turn to my mum and say, oh, you're going to Hong Kong tomorrow morning. And as you can imagine, that went down not very well. So she's packed her bags last minute, driven her up for flight, and it's probably karma a little bit. I had to spend a week at home lambing the sheep on my own in the miserable wet, while I'm getting these WhatsApp messages from my mum, having the time of our life, loving Hong Kong. They raised a mental amount of money out there, but a couple of weeks later, the passport was found. So I'm not sure if there's something going in the background, but I've got a funny feeling my mum might have hidden it to get herself a wee trip out there.
She's no daft. So where is the passport now? Because we're only, 2 months away from Hong Kong?
It's safe and sound at the minute. I don't think I'm allowed a new one either, if I'm being totally honest. So I've got it well looked after.
I love it. And you've been having a bit of banter with Team England captain Archie.
Well, yeah. So we were meant to be doing a bike ride around Dublin in June. So got to know Archie pretty well. And so at the start of the year, he was giving it all sorts of chat about England pumping Scotland, but I don't think I've heard from him since. When we've done, probably you were mentioned there about a million miles. I think the Scottish team have done all those miles. So he's pretty quiet at the bottom of the leaderboard, and I'm sure I'll get my comeuppance even more in a couple of weeks' time when he comes up to Edinburgh and the Scots do a job again at Murrayfield.
Oh, I love that chat. Yeah, the Scotland average is 105.6 and the English average is only 88.4.
Yeah, but this is my issue with this. I wasn't pre-warned at the start that we're doing it on averages, if I'm being totally honest. We're all about a community here in Doddie Aid, and it's all about getting people signed up. And so when we've got close to 9,000 members, we've done 900,000 kilometres. We've made the rest of them look silly. So no, that's my New Year's resolution for next year when we do it. That it's a combination miles, I think.
Fair play to England. They've just gone over 200k, which is pretty impressive, but their average is just not there. So a wooden spoon for England in Doddie. That's hope. It might bode well for the Six Nations.
I don't think that'll happen either, if I'm being totally honest. It's there's not many people saying it, but I'll probably say it myself. It is Scotland's year. If it's going to be any year, it's going to be this year.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah,
taking that. I'm
nah,
taking that.
taking it as well. No, I'm optimistic. You know, we've kicked it off at Doddie Aid, and we'll just carry it all the way through, I reckon.
Love it. Love it. Before we bring on our two other special guests for a little bit of a crossover chat, what there's been an announcement this week. There's there's stuff happening. There's treatments out there. What do you see the future for the foundation for Doddie Aid? Do we keep going? Does the family feel like it's the thing to keep going?
Yeah, definitely. And if I'll be totally honest, the My Name's Doddie Foundation, it's rooted within Doddie Aid. It's probably kind of in terms of there's no foundation without everyone out there doing the hard work and kind of being so graceful with kind of offering donations and whether it's crazy trials or getting involved, it feels like a real community, the foundation these days, and it comes off the back of everyone's hard work. And ultimately, unfortunately, there's people out there that on a daily basis are being diagnosed with MND, and the sad truth of it is that they're not given very much hope. And so everyone signing up to Doddie Aid, it plays a vital part, with I think £8 million already last year, was given to research, and that's ultimately what we need to continue to do is keep pledging these funds to research and giving these people a little bit of hope. It's a horrible thing, being diagnosed with MND, and it takes a whole impact on the family as well. I've seen it firsthand, and so any little thing that we can do and continue to do, I think it's massively important.
Oh, love it. How does it feel? Because you mentioned hope there. When you're at these events, and you've there's no mistaking who your old man is,
Yeah.
and people want to just get a bit of time with you, give you a hug, shake your hand, whatever it is. How does it feel?
I think it's pretty wicked, if I'm being totally honest. I love to hear the stories about what he was up to back in the day and kind of the connection that he had with people. And I hope I've not got too many of his characteristics, but it's certainly kind of the interactions that he had with everyone is something that I'd hope that I've got myself. And everyone has a cool wee story, whether it's the potbelly pig or meeting them halfway around the world and up to no good. I think it's incredible, and we're 4 years on since 4 or 5 years on since he passed away, and it's still like people love to come up and kind of tell their stories of what they got up to, and I find that really special, and I think the family do as well. It keeps a kind of piece of them going.
Yeah, amen. Do you know that there's so much come out since your old man was diagnosed and he took it on to make things better, and you got to play in the 7-4-5 game at Leeds Rhinos,
Yeah.
and you had a bit of dust up, and everything was going well, and then your wee brother comes along and scores at Kingsholm, the last try.
Not so wee brother, I might add as well.
Well, younger brother.
Younger brother. But no, it's wicked. And I think people forget I played in the first one as well, if I'm being totally honest, because he's got all the plaudits. Never mind the try as well, the conversion. I've never seen a toe poke like it in my life.
Yeah, he wasn't designed to be a kicker.
Oh, he wasn't. No, you're right. But kind of, I think it's that collaboration with obviously Ed and Rob, which I drove down for it on the day to go and watch Ben play. And what an incredible day it was. It's something a bit different. And obviously the bust up, I had my years banned, so hopefully I'll be back next year.
My years banned.
Well,
but you've mentioned it a few times. You've mentioned community, and you're in the Borders, strong community. You're at Melrose Rugby Club, strong community. Scottish Rugby, strong community. But Ed, Gloucester, Rob Rugby League and Leeds, and now Lewis Moody, unfortunately has joined that crew, and there's others that have come and been part of it for various different reasons, whether they were the one with MND or their family member or how it's gone. But the community is growing, unfortunately, and a lot of that's just because of the awareness that's been raised by your old man and the foundation.
Yeah, without a doubt, and I think it is that awareness. It's a really common thing these days, isn't it? Where you can kind of hear the discussions and people are aware of MND, which I think is vitally important. Kind of when Dad was diagnosed, I knew nothing of it. But unfortunately, the sad truth is that, as I mentioned before, people on a daily basis are being diagnosed. And so come with that we do have this community, which unfortunately is not probably an ideal community to be a part of, and you don't really want to be a part of it, but it's the nature of the beast. And on the back of that, there's so much goodwill comes with it, though, and it does build a very, very special atmosphere.
Yeah. Hamish, been class to see it. Stick there. I didn't. I'm flying by the seat of my pants again, but I'm going to bring in our next two guests now. I'm hoping. I don't know whose Wi-Fi will be poorer, the Isle of Col or Chile. So we've got Mr. Doddie Aid himself, Rob Wainwright, and Mr. Bonkers on a bike, Mark Beaumont, who's not cycling in Chile, but he is climbing in Chile. Look at that. Hello, Mark.
Hello. How are we doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you. And Rob, are you on call?
No, I'm in a petrol station forecourt, living the dream, outside Oban. So I'm looking at Mark's backdrop and thinking he's probably got me beat there by a merry mile.
I think he's got us all beat. Hamish is in rainy, wet Blainsley. I'm in rainy, wet Edinburgh, and you're putting out the vibe in a petrol station forecourt.
Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
Gentlemen, Hamish, before we let him go, he's obviously continuing where his old man left off. He what did you say, Hamish? Damp January. He didn't do dry January. He had damp January.
Yeah.
Connections. He's supporting. How amazing has it been to see this lad carry things on?
No, it's fantastic, and as you said yourself, the social media this year has been really strong, and you've been such a part of that. And no, it's been lovely to watch, and for me not to have to worry about the social media has been quite nice as well. It's in your capable hands, but no, it's been fantastic, and it's been a great year. Well, obviously at this time of year we start to look forward to next year, and we wonder, did you mention the combination mile there, Hamish? Did you? Yeah, that's got the Doddie mile's got to come, and so that all the sports and activities can be fairly weighed up against each other, particularly pig walking. I mean, how many miles for a pig walk against a bicycle mile, do you think?
Well, to be fair, it might be less than a mile because I was dragged all the way along, if I'm being totally honest.
It all counts. It all counts.
It all counts.
Hamish, what's it like having two superstars like this involved in Doddie Aid and the foundation?
Well, I think it's absolutely wicked, isn't it? Obviously, the work that Rob's done, I'm not going to be as nice as he's just been nice to me, if I'm being totally honest. It's not really how the relationship works. But Mark as well, kind of they're the backbone of everything that good around Doddie Aid and the foundation, and it's their generous time that they put up in the background, if I'm being totally honest. So now, long may it continue, and it's very much appreciated.
Well, it's willingly done, and for me to have an opportunity in public to thank Mark for all the support that he's given, and now we kind of run these things together, which is great. And he's looking so rugged and kind of Lawrence of Arabia over there, isn't he?
He's annoyingly hot.
If I took my hat off, I would get absolutely nuked. It's pretty brutal here. But Hamish, the last time that we were together was on the rope, trying to win a tug of war at Braemar Highland Gathering. If for those who are tuned in, Braemar, the Balmoral team, Balmoral Castle, sadly lost one of their team, Brendan, last year. And in memory of Brendan, and as a bit of a celebration for the foundation, we went up and took part in the tug of war. And for a brief moment, we thought we might win. It was best of three, and it was a win for them in the first end, a win for us, and we were absolutely beside ourselves. And then we got absolutely schooled at the finish. But it was a great event, absolutely fantastic. And Hamish, well, the Weir boys put in a big effort that day.
Well, Mark, that's probably why you didn't win, because I wasn't on the rope. I think you had my two little brothers there.
That's right. Sorry. Absolutely. The Weir brothers were doing an absolute triumph that day.
You were missing the muscle.
I don't think you've ever been called the muscle, Hamish.
Oh,
Hamish, good to see you. Go and get your tea. It's time to bulk up. Brilliant to see you. Thank you, Captain.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'm just going to tell Hamish I've got a bottle of whiskey in the back of the car for him. I think I offered it to you. And did you not say, don't give it to us? It's just wasted on us. But it's...
I think it would be, and it was too tempting during my damp January. But now we're through that, Rob. I'll get that off your hands.
Well, I should have given it to your mother when I saw her yesterday. But it'll be in the back of my car. It might be empty when I see you. We'll see.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice
Cheers,
evening.
Hamish.
Cheers.
Top
Bye-bye.
man.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark, come on, spill the beans. You're in Chile, but you're not on your bike.
No bikes to be seen. I'm up at about 4,300 meters in the Atacama Desert, so northern Chile, and we're off to climb the world's highest volcano, which is called Ojos del Salado, with a team out here. Fellow Scott Aldo Kane with me, and we're going to try and do the world's highest marathon. So we're going to try and run off the summit, which is, well, when I say run, it'll be hard enough to breathe at that altitude. So it's 6,900 meters. And yeah, that's the plan. We've got a bit of time to acclimatize here at base camp. This is Laguna Verde, the Green Lake. And yeah, it's pretty thin air already.
That is ridiculous. Rob, I can't believe you didn't get an invite.
No, I'm very happy. I'm carving. Everything's very busy back on the farm at the moment. But can you just tell me, Bruce, what was the name of the mountain that he's climbing up, the volcano? What was it called?
It's the highest. It's the high. It's the Green Lake, and the volcano is definitely the highest in the world.
But what was it called? What was it called again? What was
it? Arthur's Seat. That's the only
Arthur's
volcano
Seat.
I know.
There's Arthur's Seat. There's Arthur's Seat.
Mark, what's it been like? I saw you on the 1st of January. We duked together, and we're almost at the end of Doddie Aid. How's it been for you?
It's been a superb month. It's been, I mean, starting with the Duke is always an absolute triumph. There was, I think there was a ton of people along the coast from us in North Berwick. We had a load of people down at Wardy Bay in Edinburgh. It was chilly Baltic. Honestly, I can suffer, but I do not like cold water swimming. And it's the only time I do it for the foundation at New Year. And it's a great way to start Doddie Aid. And then you just start clocking up the miles from then. So it's been great. It's been an absolute triumph, as Hamish was just saying. And the month's flown by. I think that's the thing with all the banter on social media and all the camaraderie. And, you know, for us, we very much just get involved as a family. It's not so much my training miles, but it's like, you know, walking to school and walking the dog and heading out in the Pentlands. And it's been an amazing month. And just, I mean, just seeing people locally in Edinburgh, people like the Dawn Patrol getting involved, new people who haven't heard of it before getting involved for the first time. Well done them.
You said something to me at the Duke that I really loved. We were talking about Doddie Aid and, you know, it's number 6 and what were the numbers going to be like. And you said, this is for us to win hearts and minds.
Yeah. And I think people do it for their own reasons. Some have very personal connections to motor neuron disease. I didn't know anyone with MND before Doddie. And sadly, since meeting this community back in 2018, 2019, got to meet so many people who are affected directly or indirectly, and so many amazing people. And what I always think's just bizarre about all these amazing events that happen around the My Name's Doddie Foundation. Throughout January, we've been doing, for example, the coffee and cake Zwift rides on Sundays, which Sir Chris Hoy would lead in the past. He's had a bad fall and broken his leg, and we wish him well with his recovery. But we've carried on this year. All the Doddie Aid miles, we're all getting ready for the Triple Crown, the big Six Nations ride that we do. What I always think about with all these activities is just the community, and that being, it almost seems bizarre to be making such positives out of such a negative. And yet for those involved, you know, I hope people are watching Davey out on his snowboard, smashing it, winning medals. You know, people still finding ways to have a smile and have a laugh, which is just extraordinary.
Yeah, agree. Rob, this is number 6. I can still remember speaking to you on the phone about number 1 and how mad the whole thing has been. When you look back on the 6 years and Mark Beaumont, Chris Hoy, Ewan McGregor, you know, the list goes on and on. It's been quite a ride, quite literally.
It has, and I think, you know, Hamish has mentioned it, Mark's mentioned it. It's for something so negative to produce something, you know, so positive. And I don't just mean Doddie Aid. I mean all the interactions within this huge community that's built up, not just in Scotland, but across the way. One feels that Doddie was kind of the vanguard that got it all going. But sadly, as you mentioned, so many people, have joined it at the wrong end of it in the disease. But the positivity that surrounds it is truly heartwarming. And just from a personal point of view, up on call, the Duke has been a revelation, because our doctor hated the 1st of January because we always played shinty, and none of us really know how to play shinty. We just kind of played hockey with shinty sticks, and the injuries were appalling. So she's now thrilled that we only go swimming, and maybe someone will have a heart attack one day. But so far we've done pretty well, and we haven't got a huge number of injuries. And to be honest, I'm happier swimming. Probably I'm like Mark. I'm not big in cold water, but it's I think my shinty days may be over, other than standing in goal with a dog.
Poor dog having to play in goal. Mark, are you going to be able to clock up any more miles or K before midnight tomorrow night, our time?
Yes, the trick at altitude is to walk very slowly. So I'll be walking like a grandpa and doing a few kilometers. We'll be going for an acclimatization hike tomorrow up to about 5,000 meters. And it's been a good month for miles personally, because normally I'm just training on the bike. But I've been having to get out doing lots of running and prep for this silly high altitude marathon. So I've been doubling up this month on a personal level. So it's all good. All goes to the cause.
So when are you actually hitting the top? When are you going for it?
Well, it depends on weather and acclimatization of the team. There's some professionals who, I've done this before. I've climbed this mountain before. It's pretty unforgiving. It's not technical, but it's very, very high. So you can't take it for granted that we'll get to the top at all. We'll probably try and summit in about 5-6 days from now, if all goes well. But we just got news from one of the guides here that 8 people got rescued off the summit bed yesterday. So it's not Arthur's Seat.
But if you want any advice on how to walk like a grandpa, I'm your man. I've got that.
That is a lie, Rob Wainwright. That is a lie.
No. At the end of the ride, someone has to straighten me up, because I'm wandering around with my head down and kind of like a half-closed clasp knife, and then Romain will come up and say, "Why are you standing like that? Standing like what?" Oh, right, okay.
Talking of the rides, these rides have just become standard fare for the My Name's Doddie Foundation, for Doddie Aid as a climate. This time 2 years ago, we were heading towards Rome and getting ready for Rome. Scotland play Italy this weekend. There's already Scots arriving. One of my funniest, happiest memories was standing in the rain in the piazza selling headbands with you, just taking ridiculous sums of money from people for a bit of tartan, which still tickles me. But talk me through the Triple Crown. What's coming up?
Well, I think the important thing for Mark and I to say is that we just set a framework. What is amazing is the number of teams that support us. And this year, we've always had this target of 40 teams. We're over 40 teams this year, and we're still 5 weeks out. And we're knocking on the door of 500,000 fundraised already, and no one's really kick-started the Just Giving pages. So what they're doing out there, all the people that get involved, is fantastic. And our job is to be figureheads for the actual ride, which is Melrose to Dublin over 4 days, going via Leeds, obviously to Headingley, to Rob Burrock played, and then down to Gloucester to see Ed Slater, and Lewis is coming across on the morning of the third morning to see us off, and so we'll be tying in with him. Another tragic circumstance. Joining the worst and best club in the world. Nicest people, but just the worst thing to be involved in. We've got Lewis then, and then we're across the valleys of Wales. Russ, who does our routes, swears that it's going to be a bit lumpy at the beginning, and then it's downhill all the way from Abertillery, which I don't really believe. and then we have to wait until 2:30 in the morning to get to get a ferry across to Rosslare from Pembroke. So we will sleep on the ferry for 4 hours, and then we've got 120 miles up to Dublin, and then we've got to be fresh for party time in Guinness in Dublin on the Friday night and go to the game on the Saturday.
You will be fresh. When you put it like that, it sounds really easy. Mark, you've obviously loved your bike. Before I met you and we got into all this, I'd read the book, I'd seen the documentary, I'd watched the crazy things that you'd done, and I felt like I knew you. How does it feel to be inspiring these people to get on bikes? So Cammy Little from Moffat is not Mr. Lycra, and he did the ride last year. He's doing it again this year. Like you've motivated people and given them the enthusiasm to do these. They're now not once in a lifetime challenges. They're now becoming once a year challenges. It must be amazing.
For those who, I know a lot of people have been involved for years, but for those watching who are new this year, the Six Nations ride that happens every year now kicked off in 2019. So we started planning in 2018, not that long after the foundation was established. And Rob phoned me up and said, I've got this idea to take the match ball to the Calcutta Cup at Twickenham that year. That was that famous match that we were 38-0 down and we ended up 38-all. And it was Rob, myself, there was 4 of us, Russ and Tom, and we thought we'd done a pretty good job. Raised 65,000 with an amazing community around us, and look how that's compounded. Look how that's compounded year on year. Every year, more people getting involved. You've still got a core team who try and bike pedal every mile, but it's a big old mission. We run it over 3 or 4 days max, and they're mega miles. I mean, this is 3 double centuries and then a wee 120-mile poodle up the Irish coast. This is legitimate ultra endurance cycling. To put it into context, this isn't far off what I was doing for the record for pedaling around the planet. So, anyone taking this on, the logistics is quite expeditionary, and for people who, work in office jobs and bikes in the middle of the night and do daft this, it's quite extraordinary. And clearly you couldn't get a community like this playing rugby, even though at the heart of the community is rugby players. So what do broken rugby players do? They ride bikes. And it's a wonderful leveler, whether people on the ride can do 5 miles, 15 miles, 50 miles, or do the whole lot. It's just extraordinary. And whilst we bang on about the cycling, the real memories are made at the stop-off points, the rugby clubs that open their doors, the come out, the people with MND, the stories that we learn along the way. And this year, returning the match ball to Ireland, I say returning because last year we did Dublin back to Murrayfield, and it'll be really, really special. It'll be Super Saturday, it'll be St. Patrick's Day. It's going to be absolutely mad, but it's huge. I think because we've now done it enough times, people start to get a bit blasé about it, but most charities and foundations wouldn't dream of putting something on this scale.
Yeah, but most charities and organisations don't have you two. Rob, picking up on Mark's point there, the rugby clubs, the community, the people that come in, the people that are driving the vans and the support vehicles, the people that are feeding you, and it's a huge logistical operation. It's not just the guys on the bike, and it's grown to such an extent that people are desperate to be involved. And you're talking about over 40 teams. You've grown something that's just incredible and having such an impact on not just the foundation and motor neuron disease, but on other individuals, making life better for them.
Yeah, it's almost getting too big for some of the smaller rugby clubs. That's the trouble. So when we started, I think Gordon Darcy from Ireland rides with us, and he, I think he said to the IRFU that there'd be about 300 of us, and they got in touch, said, yeah, we could probably fit 300. And I said, well, might be actually, we got an allocation. The SIU have always looked after us with ticket allocations. We got 450 tickets, and they are gone. And that 95% of that is people taking part. So we've got a caravan of 425 people or so going over 4 days. And what's kind of wonderful about it, Mark, isn't it? Is that we meet, we have a Zoom call every few weeks, and we tell them what they ought to do, and then we just leave them to do it. We don't have to I mean, there is a lot of organisation. Let's not pretend that there isn't. But we've got a great team in Finlay and Weir at the foundation who help us, and but we really tell them what they need to do, and then they go off and do it. So it's a bit of a dream ticket for us. And then we get to ride our bikes, which we happen to enjoy, which is quite good.
I'm quite glad. I'm quite glad the Six Nations is a wee bit later this year. I mean, we got the luck of the draw last year with the weather, but obviously riding your bike 700 miles in the middle of winter in the home nations can be dangerous stuff, and anything can be thrown at you. We did a weird route last year, which was Dublin to Edinburgh via the borders in Aberdeen, if that makes any sense. And this year makes no better sense than that. There's much quicker ways to get to Dublin. And a big shout out for the schools getting involved. This is not just athletes or retired athletes who have trained to do something like this. We've got school kids getting involved. We've got people walking sections. Oh well, Rob, you can probably talk about those who are doing sort of parallel challenges. And it's quite extraordinary how you take something which is so mega in distance, but then if you break it down by relays, then really you create a sort of a framework that almost anyone can get involved. And if they can't do the physical aspects of it, then actually the hardest part is driving the vehicles and keeping everyone going. So there's amazing amount of people who've gotten touch this year and said, look, I've been affected personally. I've lost family members to MND. How can I help? And I've said, okay, there's a team over there that needs a driver. Okay, there's a team over there that needs a physio or whatever it is. And, it's amazing how many people get in touch and say, can I help? I don't have a team. How can I help? And Rob and I spend our lives allocating and creating, hopefully, friendships and, great fundraising partnerships in the future as well.
They've all gone really well, bar about one where there was a massive fallout. Just about everyone. I mean, sometimes you're shoehorning someone into a team that they've never met, and 99% of the times it works, and every so often you get a disaster. But anyway, it generally works, and we've got the kind of outliers. We've got two teams that both I've got relatives in. My sister is doing a marathon a day, and then the ladies, the plod squad from Call, a lot of my daughter and some of the young mothers on Call are doing it as well, a marathon a day, and then driving on. So the plod squad will see us at least once a day, whether they start with us or try and finish with us. But my sister's gone way off grid. She's doing, and a lot of teams go off and do something a little different to tie in with the people they know, down the route. And that's the beauty of it. We set a framework, but it's not a rigid one. People can dip in and dip out if they want, and everyone builds their own story. And the social media is going to be crazy. We've been used to building a bit of social media around 10, 20 teams. We've got 40 teams, and 2 or 3 of them are off in parallel universes to us. So it's going to be an interesting story. And and then we all meet in Dublin. One of the sponsors is Guinness, so I think we know what's going to happen.
Yes, we do. Mark,
it is worth saying, actually. You just mentioned one of the corporates, and the real power of the fundraising happens through the Just Giving pages and all the people reaching out to there. And we realise and appreciate how difficult it is to do that. There's so many asks on fundraising, and Rob and I really focus our efforts once a year on this big push. And, we really, really appreciate the fact that for people coming back for their second, third, fourth year, maybe going back to the same friends and families or their employees, it's a big ask. So thank you. And by this point, we've also got a growing group of companies, corporates, who can't maybe ride the whole lot, although some do put teams in, but want to write company checks. And that really cornerstones this. So the community comes alive with the Just Giving pages and the fundraising as we go, and it will really ramp up through February. And then, we kick off that, the 10th of March for the big ride to Dublin. But as Rob said at the start, there's already been a pile of fundraising from the corporates, and actually some of the pounds and the pence and the Just Giving pages are already doing brilliantly as well. So I think I don't want to sort of jinx our luck, but this fundraising effort, the big Six Nations ride, has cleared $1 million each year over the last couple of years, and I think this year's on track to do the same.
Unreal. Rob, I'm going to give you the final word. What does the future hold for Doddie Aid, for the cycles, for the foundation? You're a big picture kind of guy. Go for it.
Well, we're kind of caught in a trap here because we said we'd do it until we got a world without MND, and it's quite hard to walk away from that. My wife won't be. I hope she's not listening, because it's tough for her, because I'm spending so much time that I should be building the new polycrub or dealing with the veggies in the garden and stuff when I don't. So what is the picture? We're kind of committed to it, and if we go on to the serious side of it, I've had a lot of conversations the last couple of weeks talking to people with MND, particularly, the one good news story we've got. All the research that we've funded, there's been a huge amount of progress in the science, but in terms of the end user, the sufferer of MND, there's been no new drugs apart from a particular genetic variant of MND involving something called the SOD1 gene. There is a treatment that works, and I've been banging my head against the wall a wee bit over the last couple of weeks, because I've been speaking with a lady who has it, and it's interesting to just look at the perspectives of this. I look at it from trying to find solutions to MND, and I always think, oh, they've got the SOD1, they're the lucky ones because there is a treatment for it, but they're not the lucky ones because it's a genetic heritable disease. So when they find out they've got it, it also is hanging over their children, who don't know if they've got the gene and don't know if they're, knowing you're going to get MND, one year in the future, is probably even worse than finding out in the blue, isn't it? So I've been looking at it. Tofersen is a drug that works. It doesn't just halt progression; it actually slows progression down. And it's not available in Scotland yet. And it's just like one of these big frustrations. Imagine having a treatment for MND being available to you, and then you can't get hold of it. So we're putting a bit of pressure. We haven't started yet. We're about to try and get it available. The drug is actually available free from the drug company, but it is a very complex administration of it that needs a lot of skilled bodies. So I thought I'd end on the serious side of things, which is the end use. The reason we do all this is to try and find a cure for MND. And I'm reminded of Doddie, asking the specialists, saying, when are we going to have treatments? And they'd say, well, realistically, 10 years. And he'd go, well, why 10? Why not 5 years? And they'd all kind of look at each other and think, right, okay, well, maybe we need to speed things up. Well, the rolling out of tofersen treatment for SOD1 MND sufferers needs to be sped up. So, in terms of taking Doddie's legacy forward, we've been raising the money to find the solutions, but to be the grumpy guy who rattles the cage a bit and says, come on, this isn't good enough. We've got hope for this small section, 2% of the MND sufferers, and it's not being rolled out. So that's me. I'm rattling cages. And let's go back to the good news story is that we're going to raise an awful lot of money. We're going to have an amazing time. We're going to see the very best of humanity over the 4 or 5 days. We're going to have a great weekend in Dublin, and we're going to produce the funds to forward research to start moving things forward for all MND sufferers, not just the ones with the SOD1 gene.
Love you both so much. Absolute heroes. Mark, all the best. Please stay safe. And I'm looking forward to seeing the pictures and seeing you back here safe and sound. Rob, I hope you get out Oban petrol station alive and well and with your hubcap still on.
I know you're wrapping things up, Bruce, but I just want to mention that I know there's a lot of people on this call who are not necessarily going to Dublin or doing the ride. So a massive, massive thank you for all the miles as we get to the end of Doddie Aid. It's been an amazing month. I'm sure there'll be a great social media as we go through the Six Nations. But as we round out the month, huge thank you, everyone.
You two are too good. Love you both. Thank you. See you soon.
Cheers, Sam.
See you soon. Love you both. Stay safe,
Adios.
Mark.
Adios.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Incredible. So much in that from 3 outstanding humans and huge parts of the My Name is Doddie Foundation and Doddie Aid, and the foundation based on love, fun and hope. There's a lot of love. We've got to keep having fun, and you heard Hamish telling a whole load of daft stories, and nobody's got more daft stories than Rob Wainwright. And you've got to give a bit of hope, and hopefully that's what we're doing is giving people hope. And whether it's just getting to see people like Rob Wainwright and Mark Beaumont on their bike, or getting to see Doddie's boy at an event, it's just incredible things. There's so much to be grateful for at a point where really, why are we being grateful about anything when it just feels hellish? And it's the community that has come together. 2021, the first Doddie Aid during that lockdown, when we were doing these live shows and getting people involved and trying to inspire people, and we're still here 6 years later. And by the sound of things from Rob, it looks like we're here to stay. So let's keep going, and hopefully we'll be back in 2027 and there'll have been progress, and the stuff that Rob's been talking about is going to have moved on. There's a huge number of thank yous to do to the captains, to all the captains, JK for the rest of the world, Adele in Ireland, Archie in England, LJ in Wales, and of course Hamish, who we've just heard from Scotland. In the 6 years, there's been over 100,000 people take part, over 11 million miles. You people who have been involved this year have gone through the 1 million mile barrier. You've posted pictures, you've got people together. So thank you to everybody that's been involved, to the managers and the volunteers, the social media volunteers who've been keeping things going and keeping it relevant, to all the support from radio and TV and newspapers, from everybody that's gone out and got businesses involved, to the social partners. Thank you to the foundation and Anna and her team, to Sean, who's backstage pushing the buttons and pulling the strings to make things like this happen. I mean, how good getting Mark Beaumont dialing in from Chile. That is just insane. There's still things coming, as you've heard. There's the Triple Crown. There will be lots through the Six Nations. If you're going to any games, please wear your tartan. Please be seen on the TV. Speak to other people who are wearing the tartan. Take pictures, share it, show people how important this community is. Stephen Gourley, who is a massive supporter and continues to do daft things for the foundation and for Doddie Aid. He's got a 24-hour row coming up on the 6th of February. So on Friday, he's already raised about $3,000. There's a Just Giving page, and no doubt Stephen, who I think is watching, if you can donate, you're asked to give so much, as Mark said, but the stuff that Stephen is doing is just bonkers. We had Elspeth. If you've not seen Gladiators, get on the iPlayer and go and watch Gladiators from Saturday night. Elspeth, who's one of the Doddie Vet team and is a supporter of the foundation, taking on the Gladiators. I mean, come on, getting a supporter on to Gladiators, that is the dream. Now, we had a chat to Steph and Mark Williams in Wales, and hopefully you've seen it on social media. If you haven't, go and have a look on Instagram and on Facebook. Mark has got together with Speak Your MND to create a poem, and it's called Brotherhood. And Mark got in touch with Speak Your MND to create a poem about his experience, and a way of saying thank you to the brothers that have looked after him and supported him through all this, and who continue to support the family. And we're going to finish with a montage of all your pictures. So I'm going to say my cheerios very, very soon, but if you'll just indulge me, I'm going to read a little bit of the poem, because it's just incredible, and it's called Brotherhood, and the first part's called The Defiant Pack. It's a heavy word, friendship, when the world starts to fray, when the body decides it's got nothing to say. But when MND brought its cruelest test, I found I was shielded by the very best. And as I jump a few verses, it's the power of mates who show up in 10 to mock me from falling, then lift me again. You take the piss when you're helping me stand, the strongest medicine in all of the land. Maybe my struggle showed you your own light, a reason to focus, a reason to fight. We used to say, hold my pint before a scrap, navigating the world without any map. Now, see you later has been put to one side, replaced by I love you with nowhere to hide. Feeding me, showering me that my boy, my butty, friendship's that gold, even when it gets muddy. But here is the ask, the most sacred of tasks. When I've finished my shift and I've taken off masks, I need that same power, that same army of heart, to stay by my family when I have to depart. The last verse. Teach them to fight, but teach them to care, Tell them the stories of the times we were there. Keep being the legends you've always been to me. Be the lighthouse they need on a turbulent sea. I'm proud of you all for the men that you are, my Abertillery army, my northernmost star. Through the laughter and scars and the life that we live, there's nothing left to say. It is what it is. That's called Brotherhood by Mark Williams, our Welsh team manager, top man. We love him to bits. Folks, it's been another incredible run. It keeps January going, even though it feels like it's been 845 days long. Doddie Aid certainly helps. I hope it's helped you. Stick together, be nice. We've got 24 hours to go, so go and rack up some more miles. Do it with somebody you care about. Do it with a dog. Do it with your Vietnamese pot-bellied pig, but go and do it. And then stick around, because the Six Nations, there's more to get behind. And we're here for the long run, as Rob Wainwright said. We said we were going to stick around until we had a world-free MND, and we're not there yet, but we're going to keep fighting for all those people that need us to keep fighting with fun, with love, and with hope. We're going to finish with a montage. Doddie Aid 2026 is almost over. Thank you for all your love, your help, and your support, and for bringing hope to many that need it. We'll see you very, very soon, hopefully somewhere in person where we can go for a wander or share a Guinness. But in the meantime, look after each other. Bruce Aitchison, over and out.